that should be more or less done, right? Cool. Okay. What is that? Subscriptions. Videos. Sure, is that working now? No bloody idea. No, it's all online. Apparently. Eventually. I think that's gone. Let's have a look. Hey, there we go. Thank you, Crank. Okay. Right, let's fix my fuel situation. This was pretty much an unplanned, mostly unplanned flight. So, easy cheat for fuel. Can I have some more fuel, please? Thank you. If only it was that easy in real life. Right. And unpause. And probably start the engines back up would be a good idea too. Coming back to life. Maybe. Yep, that's the left one starting up. At least I've got, whoa, the mouse is so twitchy in this game. Got plenty of altitude to work with at least. Come on, yep, that one's firing up. Although minus 96 degrees in the, I think it's the exhaust temperature. And the second one's starting up too. These bloody things here are really obtrusive. I understand they're supposed to be warning you if things are going on, but they come up even when the problem doesn't exist anymore. Right. Here we go. Love the sound of the engines firing up like that. Citation longitude. That's one of the. It's one of the DLC ones. I can't remember which DLC it comes from. I ended up getting the premium deluxe version, which is the most I've ever spent on a game. But yeah, with the cost of, I mean, there's a third-party creator in the store at the moment. They're selling what, I don't know what the airplane is, but it looks a bit like the Cessna Grand Caravan, and they're selling that for $49 on its own for one airplane, which is a fairly normal price for you know, highly detailed aircraft. So Yeah, a little extra. I was like, oh, bugger it. You get in total an extra 10 aircraft and I think it was another 10 detailed airports. Thought it was worth grabbing it. But yeah, it's definitely been a bit, the launch of this game's been a bit rough, and there's some really silly things that they've messed up. I'm slowly writing down a list of things. I wasn't writing them down at first, but I kept forgetting what they were. So overall, it's pretty decent though. It's spectacular. The actual world itself is spectacular. I grew up in Australia, yeah. So living in New Zealand now. Have been for the last 17 and a bit years. The Australian cities are funny to fly around in this actually, because it's pretty much, I think with the exception of Sydney, which I haven't actually flown around Sydney yet, but I've seen some stuff that other people have done. Like there's the Sydney Opera House there. I don't think the Sydney Harbour Bridge isn't there though. Somebody was saying that was due to copyright reasons, which seems a bit strange, but I know the Eiffel Tower had similar things, but I think the Eiffel Tower isn't here, so I don't know. But yeah, a lot of the other cities like Perth and that, it's just buildings are in the right place, but the buildings are nothing like the actual real life ones. I would say pretty much everyone loves money, don't they? More or less. No, I don't know any more than anybody else. I always thought it was the Americans that were supposed to be the money-obsessed ones. But, yeah, I don't know. The wages here, like the cost of living here is fairly high. I think we had the highest food costs for the, like, pretty much the Western world. A visa? No, because I'm an Aussie, I don't need one. It's same the other way around as well. Kiwis and Aussies can travel between the countries without needing a visa. Just the passport's enough. Let's trim this. Where are we going? Yeah, probably need to lose a little altitude. Gonna have to definitely need to check my earlier video because I was doing the tutorials and everything, and other mate didn't let me know that sound was missing. I have to give him shit for it if it is. I have a feeling it was. I don't know why. I got some issues with OBS was set to default. You'd think that would be enough. I actually had to set it to my headphones for it to pick up the sound, which is odd. Oh, window visor. There is one up there. I don't think. Hang on. Oh, hang on. What the hell? I don't know what that just did. Yeah, see, it comes up with a, oh, hang on, does that? Inoperable. That, I'm guessing that's what that means. So yeah, it's a couple of visors, but they don't work and I think I am leaning for some reason. But yeah, I don't know if this is stuff that they will. A lot of the stuff works, but yeah, there's a few things that don't. Do you have like an old PC at the moment, or you start from scratch? Because I'm running this on a fairly old PC. The base hardware is from 2012, but I bought a new SSD for it to go on. It's a cheap SSD though. And I got a new graphics card a couple of years, 2 or 3 years ago, I can't remember now. It was a GTX 1060, so it's kind of not the best thing for this, but yeah. Runs at playable speeds as long as you're not too fussy. I mean, I'm getting 29, 28 frames a second here at the moment, although sometimes it does drop lower. And that's with streaming as well, so although the streaming didn't seem to affect it too much. You do need to learn how to use the autopilot. Ah, fair enough, fair enough. You pretty much can't go too far wrong. I would say find a decent. I wouldn't buy anything pre-made, but I'd find a good computer store, like maybe a local computer store, depending on where you live in, that with a bunch of geeks in it that know what to do, because you'll get better value for money that way. Let them know what you want to use it for, and yeah, just make sure you got plenty of RAM, plenty of storage. CPU isn't quite so important these days. You don't need to go crazy with that. And a halfway decent GPU, like your graphics card. Don't go too crazy with a graphics card, but you definitely want something that's pretty competent, as the next generation of NVIDIA GPUs are due out soon. The 30 series, maybe for 3060 or 3070 or something like that. Still a fair bit of money, but that would last you years and years and years. So I mean, this PC is what, 8 years old, going on 9 years old. So yeah, an i5 is pretty much the sweet spot. i7 is good if. Like, if an i7 is only a little bit more, then go for the i7. I haven't looked at prices recently. It used to be, especially back when I bought mine, the i7, I didn't realise this at the time, but the i7 was a bit of a waste of time, because back then, because the i5 and the i7 both had 4 cores. The only difference was the i7 had hyperthreading. And it really wasn't very helpful for games, so I could have saved myself a bit of money and just gone with an i5. But it's been a decent CPU though. I definitely can't complain. Yeah, it does help. The i7s now have got. I think the i5s might go up to 6 cores now, but I know the i7s definitely do 6, 7, 8 cores. Of course, there's the AMD stuff as well. A lot of the AMD stuff is considerably faster than the Intel stuff, but I still tend to prefer Intel for reliability. But again, there's people that swear by AMD now. But yeah, for me, every time I've had it, it's just. I haven't tried flying in this without a joystick of sorts yet. I've just got an Xbox One controller that I'm using. Unfortunately, they screwed up when it came to the rudder controls are on the triggers, which is fine, and the triggers are analog, which is great. But the controls for, I'll try and show you. Probably won't work very well in flight, but basically it should be analog controls, and if I just touch it gently, it's basically going full rudder. So yeah, and I've noticed it doesn't matter how gently or how hard you push them, it always just goes full rudder. So, and there's no, hang on, I'll go to, where are we? Controls, if I go to, flight control surfaces, and rudder here, you see, so the elevator and the aileron, they're all on proper analog. I noticed it when I was looking at it, but I didn't think they could be that stupid. This is actually just digital, even though it's on an analog control. So hopefully they fix that, because that's a bit ridiculous, especially considering this is supposed to be coming out for the Xbox One. So if they don't fix that, I'd love to know why. Are the sound levels good? It's not too quiet, not too loud. Oh, there's an airport right below me. Somewhere, apparently. Something below me. For now, I've got all the planes that I want. So that was the Digital Deluxe version that got that. I would definitely be very interested in any Warbirds that they release. But I'm on a pretty tight budget, so I play a lot of War Thunder as well. I don't know if you've heard of that. It's a free-to-play game, but again, it's got its issues. But if you're into Warbirds, then that is a exceptionally good game. And that has got everything from a sort of arcadey flight model all the way through to a fairly decent sim, where you fly in the cockpit like this and yeah, shoot other people down. It's a lot of fun, and supports something I would definitely, I don't know what your budget is like, but if you can stretch yourself to getting VR in a flight sim is just, oh, it's unbelievable. They're adding it to this, but there's no way my computer's going to cope with that, unfortunately, so that'll be sometime down the future when I upgrade. But yeah, VR, if you want the ultimate experience in flight simming, then VR. Oh shit, that's a hell of a question. Top 5 planes. I love the Hurricane. I love the Hurricane because it's not glamorous, but it was just such a workhorse. It was pretty much the plane that won the Battle of Britain. But yeah, I love the Underdogs as well, and it was just, yeah. And yeah, flying that in War Thunder is actually interesting. It's a very forgiving plane to fly. 1,500. You've got pounds, euros, dollars, and yen in that one. I'm confused because they're all very, very different currencies. If your budget is around, if it was US dollars, if it was, in fact, if it was pounds, Yeah, that'd be pretty much enough for a decent computer, but you wouldn't be able to get the VR. But I'd recommend saving up for VR at a later date. Um, because it's just mind blowing. Although you'll need to, if you're really sensitive to motion sickness, then that could be an issue. The sterling aircraft, or the currency. Love the sterling too. Not sure I put it in my top five though. Okay, so pounds sterling. Yeah. Oh, I wish the pound was worth as much as it used to be, because then you could afford the VR as well. Although British prices can be really inflated sometimes. But yeah, you should be able to get yourself a really decent PC for that. You might be able to squeeze in if you got. I don't know what the British prices for things like the Oculus are though, because they love to screw the Brits on prices. It's really unfortunate. Like this game was a fair bit. Well, it wasn't heaps more, but it was. I think Britain was the most expensive place to buy this game by about. It was about $5 more expensive than everywhere else, which isn't a huge amount, but it's a bit of a fuck you. Yeah, no, you should be able to get a nice PC for that, especially if you do go somewhere that and there'll be plenty of places in the. I would think. I went. God, last time I was in the UK, it's probably about 15 years ago, but that was mostly in Wales. Um, I was absolutely gobsmacked the lack of certain things like because obviously it was me, my dad, and my son went there to visit family, and it was amazing, like the lack of internet cafes, especially coming from New Zealand and Australia, where there is so much tourism that, and even those that aren't tourists, like students and all that, quite often they didn't have their own internet at home necessarily, or they were wanting something. There was heaps of internet cafes, but yeah, nothing in that. The Oh, you had VR, right? Was that like phone VR? Actually, no, it couldn't have been, because otherwise you wouldn't know. But yeah, if it was making you sick and dizzy, then yeah, that's a shame. Because yeah, it's amazing in flight sims. But yeah, if anything's going to make you sick and dizzy, then VR and a flight sim will do it. Um, Especially if you're doing combat sim and you start doing high G maneuvers, it's insane. What's my fuel situation at the moment? Quick check. Ooh, I think I'm burning through fuel way more than I should be, because what is my throttle situation? Oh yeah, I'm absolutely maximum throttle at the moment, which is silly. And also I think my angle of attack is horrendous. Yeah, I'm like basically crabbing through the sky. Well, not crabbing because it's sideways, but you know, I'm flying this so badly. In fact, I should add some more fuel, because at the rate I'm going, I'll run out of fuel just as I'm trying to land. X-Plane 10 a little bit. I don't know how X-Plane 10 compares to 11. Like, I know 11 is a fair bit better, but I don't know how much better. X-Plane 10 really felt like it needed a lot of add-ons to make it more enjoyable. It's definitely very much focused on the sim aspect than the sort of mucking about and just going for a fly and doing some, you know, like even FSX had a few little missions and things like that for you to cut your teeth on. But yeah, X-Plane didn't really have anything like that, so it was pretty much find your own thing to do, which is fine. But the quality of the, like, yeah, the quality of the cities, in some ways better than FSX, but in other ways worse. Um, like again, one of the places I went recently was Perth in Western Australia, and I found that X-Plane 10 was very, it was very clean. The streets were very well defined, but the buildings were completely like so wrong. Like, funnily enough, the buildings in this are completely wrong as well, but they're in the right place and they're kind of the right heights and stuff. They just haven't got the proper models in there. Whereas I think FSX actually at least has some of the proper buildings there, which actually did better than this, as far as that goes. Um, but this gets so many other things right that FSX couldn't get right because of the technological limitations of the time. Um, Interesting. Where's my menu? Oop. Oh, I know why I didn't see my menu. There we go. So yeah, X-Plane is very good, but I think for my for what I want to do, this fits the bill better. From what I understand as well, this also does mods a bit better than FSX. Not FSX, well, yeah, it does it better than FSX, but also X-Plane, apparently the mods and the add-ons are not incorporated into it very well. Saudi Arabia right now. I had a guy on earlier that wanted me to fly over Saudi Arabia. A couple of different cities. I thought, oh, what the hell? Because I've done a lot of fucking about, but I haven't actually done any real point-to-point flights. So I'm flying the suggested route. Also, I've never really had a look at another place in the world. What I like about this is that even though some of the details in the cities and that might be wrong, you know, flying at this altitude over places, it's, at the moment, you just can't get any better. And it's nicer than just looking at it on Google Maps. It's all kind of cleaned up and that. There are some places, like I flew over the Faroe Islands, because I was on Reddit last night, and there was somebody that had plotted a route around the world, like circumnavigate the globe in a Cessna 172, and one of their stop-offs was the Faroe Islands, but somebody pointed out that the Faroe Islands in this game, it exists, but there's no airport there in the game, even though there is in real life. So I was curious, especially a couple of people said the different reasons, and one of those would be that because all the data in this is taken from Bing Maps, and yeah, Bing Maps has got a really, really low resolution view of the Faroe Islands. So today I thought I'd go and have a fly out there, and yeah, it's pretty bad. Like, it's better than anything in FSX. I don't know about X-Plane. I need to go there and X-Plane. Actually, would be interesting. But need to sort out my fuel, don't I? There we go. But yeah, but the funny thing was, so the islands themselves actually look better. Once you got up to them close, they became, the texture that was on them got downgraded when we got close. I could see it. I even took screenshots of it. You went from like a fairly crisp texture to this blurred texture. I don't know why they did that. Again, a lot of this stuff has been automated. There's just, the planet's far too big to be doing it by hand. And yeah, but they had, a lot of the buildings were there, and the airport itself was there, except there was just grass instead of the tarmac runway, which is there, and it wasn't an active runway. But all the buildings were there, and the outline of the runway was there. But yeah, ground was rough as hell. I ended up landing this exact aeroplane on there, and it was mildly terrifying. There we go. There's the city coming up. There's no trouble with this place. I have no idea how to pronounce most of the places. You can have a stab in the dark at it, but I should start descending probably. Look at me overspeeding. So I don't like that. If you have the audacity to go to 0 throttle or have any amount of flaps out, it starts yelling at you about your landing gear. I understand why it would do that, but I have trouble believing that the real plane would do that. You'd think it would take other things into account, like if you're at, what, 48,000 feet at the moment? Not too sure this plane should be able to fly quite that high as well. But yeah, 48,000 feet surely wouldn't be warning you about landing gear. In what way spoiled? Like, I think to a certain extent, like when you look at, because what it's, say, I think I'll talk Kiwi dollars because that's obviously what I bought it in, and it's more, it's because the US got it considerably cheaper. So the base price for the game here was $105 New Zealand. The mid-range one was 145, and the top-end one was like 189.95. So that's what, around about $84 more. But that was $84 for 10 more aircraft, and it was either another 10 airports or another 5 airports. I can't remember. I think it might have been another 10 airports. It was 10 and 10, I think. And that is a bargain when you look at the price for add-ons for the other flight sims. And they are, like, they're not perfect. There are things in here that you can't use, like this up here, whatever this is. That's a phone, isn't it? Well, no wonder we can't use the phone. I don't know if it is a phone. It's something. It looks like an emergency phone, maybe a satellite phone. But yeah, so these shields we can't use. There were a couple of other things, I'm sure, down here that gave me that, yeah, inoperable. What is that? Pedal adjust. That kind of makes sense that that's not included. You don't really need to adjust your pedals if you're a virtual pilot, but for your liveries. Well, yeah, we do get, yep, we did get the nice airports. Yeah, there were no extra cities included. I don't like the idea of blocking too much away behind a paywall. Yeah, especially, yeah, maybe not the graphics. Free liveries, though. Free liveries would have been nice. And I don't see why they could. The aircraft that I've looked at so far for liveries, I haven't found any. I don't know if there are any different liveries. I think there are a few for some of the smaller aircraft. But the 747 doesn't have one. The 787 doesn't have one. I can't remember if I checked this one. But that's, yeah, that sort of stuff would not be hard to do. And you could even, you could have had like a, a sort of a show-off livery that, like, oh, look, I spent the extra money and got this livery. Sort of exclusive liveries. But yeah, quite happy with the, with the aircraft. Especially, and people pointed out they probably did this deliberately, that the mid-range version, which they call the deluxe, the extra aircraft in that weren't that great, but the interesting aircraft were in the premium deluxe version, which you had to pay the extra 40 for, and so it was like they really wanted people to spend the extra 80, not just the extra 40. So runway's down there. That's oddly, I don't. Doesn't look like much of an airport from here, obviously, honestly. yeah, I'll let me get on the ground first. Seeing as I've flown all this way, I'd like to land. This might take a wee while though. There's an airport there as well. This definitely feels a lot more like the sound and everything. It does feel a lot more like actually being in the air than any other simulator I've played. Okay, let's just trim a little. It's funny when you adjust the trim in this, there's a wee squeak. Like, yeah, there's like a squeak like from the sort of trim wheels you get in the 737, but this plane doesn't have trim wheels, it's got this little thing. I need to learn how to use all the radio stuff as well. I feel kind of bad pulling into these places just as a rogue aeroplane, not communicating at all, just helping itself. They're completely different aircraft. They don't have the 777 in this game yet, and I think the next big one that's getting added is the 737. But I don't know if that's being done by. I think that's going to be done by a third party. So that's probably going to cost an absolute fortune. The 777 though is a smaller aircraft than the 747. I think. Or is it? Yeah, it is. It's a smaller aircraft. I was looking it up the other day, and I think it's just a twin engine as well. It's designed to be sort of, because big aircraft like the Airbus 380 and the 747 have really gone out of favour with the airlines because they're expensive to run. If you don't fill them up, then you're running at a massive loss. So yeah, they started making smaller, more efficient, still reasonable size aircraft, but yeah. So things like the 777 and the Dreamliner. Dreamliner is still pretty damn big, but it's just way more efficient than the old 747. There we go. What I might actually do. See, little things like this. I haven't found a way to bind a control to the speed brake. It's not in the. It's also the most ineffective speed brake I've ever used. It animates. You can see the speed brake working there. It just doesn't do very much to the speed, which is weird. In fact, I think it just doesn't work. We'll do that. Well, maybe it is working a wee bit. No, it does work. It does work. It's just not dramatic. No, man, ask away. It's fine. Tutorials, I actually found them a bit annoying. That It's like they're kind of good, but I feel like they missed the mark. Um, have you? Because you've said you've played X-Plane, not X-Plane, FSX, but a while ago, if I'm remembering right. Back to the chat. Every time I scroll up the chat, it zooms back into the game. Okay, I can't find where you said that. If you said that, I'm sure I remember you saying that. Okay, maybe you didn't say that. So I don't know if you know a bit about flying, then it's probably not too bad. If you're completely new to flying, it is going to be a bit of a nightmare. They tend to, there's a lady that does all this, voice does the so you don't need to do a lot of reading, which is good. So you're being told, because the last thing you want to do when you're trying to work the airplane is have to be reading all this text as you're doing it. So that's good. But the trouble is that you tend to be given the information about 10 seconds after you actually need the information. Right, so you never played a sim. This is reasonably easy to get into. Although you will probably have issues with, at the moment, the controls. When you first get the game, the controls are way too sensitive. So that'll be a bit of faffing about, just getting it to where you're comfortable. The tutorials seem to miss, like, there was one of the tutorials about navigation was telling me that I need to use the heading degree, a thing to do with a heading direction indicator, which is great. Okay, it says use that, not so much the compass, because the compass can be inaccurate, and then it doesn't tell me any more. So I don't know whether they forgot to put that in. So why even bother mentioning it? They didn't point out where it was, how to use it. And it's got, I don't know if you've been much into gaming at all, but sometimes there's certain games out there where you get missions and there's certain checkpoints you have to hit, and sometimes they'll bug out or whatever and they don't hit and then you get stuck. There's a similar problem in this where they have you doing a loop around the airfield, but they actually don't show you exactly where you need to go, which would be fine as long as it wasn't fussy where you went, but it is fairly fussy. So I ended up doing like 3 laps of the airport just getting those parts of the tutorial done. I need to put a bit more power on. And flaps, I think. Yes, I know, landing gear. I don't really want my landing gear out just yet. I guess I'll have to, just to make you quiet. No, don't do stalling. Oh, I do need way more power, though. Way more power. Also, I could do without the speed brake right now, too. So yeah, a keybind for the speed brake would be great. Okay, and a bit less power. It's there somewhere. Where are we? Come on, keep it maybe about 130. Oh, it's like 8 miles out. So yeah, the tutorials are definitely helpful, but they could be a lot better. Definitely not the most... Ah, there it is. Oh, that's not too bad. I think I might be landing at the wrong airport, though. Go over there and see. Let's drag the flaps back in and the gear. Thank you. Gonna go fly over there. that's that one on my map right now. Yeah, I have a feeling there's two airports right next to each other here. But yeah, this, in some ways, this reminds me a lot of a much older flight sim that I used to fly. I won't go really that fast. I used to really enjoy, called Flight Unlimited, specifically Flight Unlimited 2 and 3. There is no airport down there. Lies. Oh, hang on. No, there is. Oh my god. It's tiny. Oh my god, that is so small. Oh, this could be interesting. So small I didn't even see it. Okay. Okay. Speed brake. Yeah, it's it can be a lot of fun, and there's, of course, there's the multiplayer as well. There's also a thing you might want to look up as well if you really if you really want realism. Is a thing called VATSIM, VATSIM, and I think it's either a free service or it's a subscription service. I think it might be free. And if it is a subscription, it's relatively low. But basically, you get, instead of the automated robotic air traffic control, I'm gesticulating with my hands here. I make my hands all over the place as I talk. I've got no camera, so it doesn't make any difference. But anyway, yeah, it's real live people, and most of them are either real air traffic controllers or people training to be air traffic controllers. Yeah, that's the one, VATSIM. And yeah, and it hooks into this. This game supports it. X-Plane. If you ended up getting X-Plane or whatever, that also supports it. Same with FSX. If you wanted to try out flight sims as well before, you know, spending 50 or 60 pounds on one, then I do highly recommend FSX. It's quite dated looking, but it's still, if anything, actually the controls work a bit better on FSX. Out of the box, they control, like, the rudders actually work properly. And on a sale, you can pick up FSX for it'll just be a few quid. Literally probably about £3 on a good sale. And you can fly pretty much anywhere in the world. They've got the whole planet in that too. There's less airports, but there's still a lot of airports. Like I'm down in the south of New Zealand, and both my local airports are in FSX, and one of them's a glorified, paddock. So yeah, FSX. I would really recommend FSX if you just want to try it, and all the controls and stuff that are out there are supported by FSX pretty much. I think might be talking out of my ass there, but I'm pretty sure it's pretty much everything works. And especially if you're just getting it for a few pounds, then that's pretty good. I'm not focusing on my landing at the moment. Oh, hang on, I flew way past my airport. Gonna need to focus now. And I'm probably getting low and slow. No, I'm still going really fast. It's gonna be back there. Is my airspeed still reasonably okay? So yeah, and if you learned how to do stuff in FSX, that would translate quite well to this too, or even X-Plane. Right, really need to get down Okay, less throttle, please. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. That's Then yeah, I could definitely recommend this. Really worth looking at X-Plane 11. I guess it depends what you want. If you want, I suppose, the ultimate realism in the aircraft, like this is pretty good. But X-Plane 11 probably is more realistic for the aircraft, and I know basically all the GPS stuff and all that is, as far as I'm aware, done perfectly in X-Plane 11. Especially if you do end up buying some new for beginner. I don't know if I'd say X-Plane was for beginners. Oops. Oh dear. Okay, and then we really need that. Yeah, landing gear down. Oops. There we go. And I wish I had a proper throttle here. I'm having to use a button for a throttle instead of a something a bit more realistic. This is gonna be interesting. Need to remember I've changed my controls around a bit as well. Oh boy. I wish the rudder was... Oh dear, dear, dear. No, come on, come on, come on, come on. This is gonna be interesting. Oh boy, come on. Oh. Oh, this runway is far too short. And look at that, I've taken back off. Yeah. Speed brake off, please. But yeah, it definitely needs a bit more polish for the controls. That's the main reason I'm kind of hesitant for recommending this as a beginner one. And I haven't played X-Plane 11. X-Plane can be really daunting because it's basically set up to be able to do so many different things. I need to lower my flaps. Come on. Get that. A bit of a nasty situation here. Come on, you can do better than that. Yeah, I know, and I don't know about X-Plane 11. I imagine it's very similar to X-Plane 10. Setting up controls and all that. Although it was pretty good, when you look at some of the options, there's just like a whole page of just like things to select. Which gives it the flexibility. I mean, you could, you know, set up a full-on flight sim in your, you know, in your bedroom or something with, you know, multiple screens and the full aircraft controls, and X-Plane would support that. It's amazing as far as that goes, but it can be a bit daunting if you just got a little joystick and you want to just set up some basic flight controls. Yeah, I definitely recommend like FSX because it is quite. It can be quite cheap. In fact, even at full price, I think it's quite cheap. But I wouldn't pay full price for it. All right. Brake, thank you. I don't know about X-Plane. But FSX has got some pretty decent tutorials in it. I just want to get this landed now. Oh, this is coming against so too. Oh, that was way too much. Oh, damn it! Right. That's off the runway. Can we stop before the houses? I think we're good. There we go. That was a horrible landing. That was so horrible. We survived. Just. Oh, Jesus. Don't even let me fly a business jet. Right. That's, main menu. There's also a huge amount online as well, like on YouTube. Um, so yeah, I don't think you would have too many problems if you just bought straight into this once you've got a, especially like if you're saving up for a machine, if it's going to be, you know, a few months time. Yeah, hopefully they'd have everything in this sorted out. Right, so where is still learning the there we go. So yeah, liveries for this. Yes, there's only one livery. Now aircraft or so it doesn't differentiate between what is the deluxe and premium deluxe version and what is the standard version. And there's a lot of very similar aircraft. So one of the best aircraft I reckon in the game is actually one you get in just the standard version. And that's this plane here. This is like one of the fastest turboprops in the world as far as passenger aircraft goes. Right, so the Airbus is standard. I think this is part of the DLC. The 747 is standard. The 787 Dreamliner is premium deluxe. The X Cub is either deluxe or premium deluxe. I think these two, one of them is deluxe and another one is premium deluxe. This one might be standard. As might that one be. I have a feeling that is part of the pack. Wish it was easy to tell. See, that would be really nice if they had a filter for that. They don't. This is standard, I believe, the Icon A5. I still haven't flown it. It's an amazing aircraft. It's totally amphibious. So this Cessna here is standard, but then there's a aerobatics version, and that is either deluxe or premium deluxe. Can't remember. One of these is standard, I believe, and the other one is premium deluxe, or deluxe maybe. The G1000. Pretty sure that's standard. This is the premium deluxe version. This is standard, and this one is either deluxe or premium deluxe. So if I go into, where are we? Marketplace. Requests, I will take a request. Bundle. Here we go. So the deluxe, where are we? Right, so yeah, that's the two of those little Cessnas, the DVA, or not Cessnas, Diamonds, DVA 40, DV20, the Beechcraft Baron. Oh, the 172 is part of the. Okay, so the 172 isn't part of their standard, but the 152 aerobatic version, and then airports. So Amsterdam, Cairo, Cape Town, O'Hare International, Adolfo in Spain, and then the premium version. Right, so the 172 with the G1000 suite, which is the modern GPS and all that. Fly over the Antarctic. I visited there last night, actually. Yeah, I will do that. So yeah, 787. Serious. What aeroplane do you want me to fly over there? Fly over it in? Is there any particular um, request there? Oh yeah, and you get Heathrow Airport in the premium deluxe version as well, which I still haven't visited. Right. I don't know how long the delay is between when I say and when you hear. I think it's probably about 30 seconds. Whichever has the biggest windows. Well, I can go in outside view, so it's not too big a deal. Not too big a deal? Yeah, I suppose that works. Right. Alright. What would be the most... Probably... actually, you know... Oh, actually, yeah, that would be... Yeah, this little thing here. Cool. Yeah, that's got some big windows. Oh man, look at this graphic error. That's not good. Oh well. It's not going to stop me flying it. Right. There we go. World map. Got a choice of 2 airports for Antarctica as far as I'm aware. And I will need to change the season too. What if I change the time of day? Might actually have a bit of daylight there. Okay, where are we? I see. They're not actually. No, there we go. Thank you. Yeah, cool. I might have to change the season slightly to get a bit more daylight. You can fly in Antarctica in FSX as well, but it's not very good. The planet, yeah, the planet is. That's something I need to get as well as a. Thing is, I'm streaming at the moment on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook, just to stand the best chance of getting somebody watching. But I'd love one of those overlays so that people can see when I'm seeing their chat. And so it makes sense to everyone else, I suppose. Oh yeah, it's actually a decent amount of daylight at the moment. So yeah, should be this month at least. I'll just wait for everything to load a wee bit. But yeah, it's Makamoto Station over there. It's pretty stunning. Alright, let's how are we doing for fuel? Should have enough fuel to fly for quite a while. Right. I'll have the little GPS stuff in this is adorable. Let's say we're at 7,000 meters altitude? I mean 7,000 feet? No. maybe that's the... that must be some autopilot function set to 7,000. Pretty much bang on sea level here by the looks of it. Yes, I know how to... I hate those messages, they're annoying. Need to be able to switch them off. Probably can switch them off. Right, yeah, we're actually bang on zero here. Right. Off we go. I wouldn't be surprised if there are, but I don't know for a fact. Hey, there we go. I think there's the station over there, which is basically just one massive building. Yeah, no, I got what you meant, man. So I don't know what that station looks like in real life, but in this game it's basically a large building with a bunch of other buildings scattered on top, which is kind of funny. So the ground is very dark there. Initially looked like it was water or something, but it's clearly not now. It's water over there. It is actually, it really is. Sort of thing I wouldn't mind having in real life. There's a bit of wind outside, I can feel it kind of just bouncing along in the breeze. A bit of turbulence. Interesting graphical sort of glitch in the ground over there. Don't know if that's loading in textures or what. Oops. Yeah, I just think it doesn't quite know what to do. But it's a hell of a lot better than it was in FSX. I'm gonna fly over the mountains. Hopefully we can make it. Ooh, what is that over there? Ah, I think those are windmills. Nice. Although, why are they all the way over there? They can be pretty much anything you want them to be, like they're multi-purpose screens. Like this one is sort of GPS map. It's also showing our RPM and all that stuff, oil pressure, exhaust temperature, fuel pressure as well. Can I... No. There we go, see I can zoom this out or in. Although, that being said, I am over land right now and it's not showing it. So yeah, this is not very useful in Antarctica apparently. Um, and then this other one pretty much gives me a, you know, shows me where I'm flying. So if I'm in zero visibility conditions, this is literally a lifesaver. If you didn't have one of these, you would be, and this airplane doesn't have one, you'd be relying on the artificial horizon, but then you wouldn't know where there were mountains and stuff like that. So yeah, this is purely, yeah. Yeah, so if this all stopped working and you had zero visibility, that would be pretty dangerous. You'd have to be trying to rely on your compass and your altitude and your speed to keep your bearings, which would not be fun. Hey, there's more buildings down there. Tanks. Water tank type things. Can't imagine that. Would they be water tank? Fuel? Oop, and they've popped out of existence. Imagine probably fuel tanks. Ooh. That's not good. Why is a default that? Oh, you don't get to, you get left or right, but you can't have both. Interesting. So yeah, we've got left fuel tanks in the left wing and the right wing. Basically, just you've got a fuel pump that's putting fuel into the engine, and I imagine this would be a fuel injected engine. So there's a certain pressure that you need. Yeah, it's like, so it's got 0.3 of a bar. So if you notice that pressure going down, then you've probably got an issue with your fuel pump, which is obviously not good, because once that drops too low, then your engine's going to shut off. You've also got, this is really cool. So you've got a fuel tank in each wing, and in this plane you can only take fuel from one wing at a time. So what you've got to do is, you're flying along, you've got to constantly, well, not constantly, but every now and then, you need to make sure you switch from one tank to the other so that you don't unbalance the plane. Be, don't know what the outside temperature is. I know last time I was here it was unrealistically warm. "9 degrees" it reckons at the moment, which I don't believe that. Not in the winter months. Turn some of the speed into altitude. I really want to learn how to use all that stuff. Yeah, it'd be nice if we didn't get these graphical glitches here. But this is a bit like what the Faroe Islands was doing as well. No, not yet, but I haven't been flying in rain. So yeah. That's you need the rain and the sun to get the rainbows. Is it doing that? Funny thing is, I hit X at the moment and there's no points of interest. We need to keep climbing, otherwise this ground is going to catch up with us. It's a pretty sizable mountain then. Not too sure I understand the question. Download, the initial download is 150 gig, which isn't too bad for the whole planet. But on top of that, there is also more stuff that gets continuously downloaded as you get the higher detail scenery loading in. Some areas like this are not that highly detailed, of course. But yeah, all the data in total is like 2 petabytes, which is about 2,000 terabytes, which is crazy big. But you never download all of that. Yeah, I don't think there's just one server. I'm not entirely. There would have to be multiple servers, but they coordinate all their stuff together pretty well, I think. And there is a limit. Like if there were hundreds of people in one area, it would not show you all those people. It would limit it. I don't know what the limit is, but it's relatively low. Yeah, you basically download the Earth, which is the same. FSX also has that, but that's only about a 10 gigabyte download. But that's because it's much lower detail. But yeah, if I was to play this in offline mode, it'd still be able to go everywhere, it just wouldn't be as detailed. Although I'm not too sure this area would be much different. It depends what you're after. Offline would be less detailed. But if you've got a really slow internet connection, then you can play. You still do need an internet connection for I think if you've got no internet, then it won't let you play. But you can have the downloading turned off so that you just use what you've already downloaded. In that aspect, I think FSX and X-Plane are probably better because I don't think you need to be online at all to play those. But you definitely don't need to be online to play FSX. FSX will work perfectly fine without an internet connection. And I'm pretty sure it's the same with X-Plane 11, so that's something to consider as well. Ugh. It's over there. Hey, found the sun. That looks amazing. Screenshot. You can get it very, very, very cheap if you have an Xbox Pass, I think it's called, which you can get for PC. It's got like an introductory offer for like $1 a month, and that you can download the standard version of this game for that if you've got the Xbox Live Pass, I think it's called. You'll see it on Windows 10 basically. If you go to the Windows 10 store, it'll let you know what you need. I think the normal price of that is about $5 a month. So in the short term that works out really well, but in the long term you're better off buying it outright. Otherwise you're just chucking money at it, and never actually fully owning the game. Because if you have the game for a couple of years, you end up, if you were just using the Xbox Pass, which is a constant, constant $5 or whatever a month, then you'd end up spending more on the game than if you had bought it outright. But certainly, just to try it out, that's worth doing. Also, you may have been asking whether there's a fee for being online, and no, there's not. Once you've bought the game, you can just jump online. It even shows real air traffic movements and all that as well, which is pretty amazing. Interesting. What is this control? Is that mixture? Ah, propeller RPM control. Interesting. Huh. to land it somewhere around here. It's pretty good. Like, it's not perfect, but it is pretty good. Ah, that's the flaps control. Okay, gonna land going uphill. Down. Visibility out of this airplane's great too. I've forgotten about my dead zones, you know. Yes, there is. That's the I can't remember what it was called now. I did show it in the list of things. It's a little amphibious aircraft. Look at the shadow there as it come in. It's a bit rough, but not too bad. Oops, I'm using the wrong buttons. There we go. Wow, it stops nice and quick. Control Shift. Hang on, let's have a look around first. That's pretty awesome. How to get rid of the HUD. That'd be nice to do too. Oh well. Ah, cheers. Touched down a little bit hard, but it wasn't too bad. Control Shift E. There we go. Engine off. I just heard a bird call out. That's hilarious. The engine cooling down. Ooh. Don't know what that is. Can we turn everything off? There's engines, master. There we go. Master switch off. No, don't really use Twitter all that much. But, possibly Facebook. Right, if I go have a quick, I'll show you the amphibious. Right. I'm going to have to go to bed soon, but let's get this done. Choose it straight out. Are there any liveries for this one? No. Yeah, definitely a lack of liveries. Nope. Other way. Oh, good, man. Oh, good. Cool. Okay, so yes, the Icon A5. There we go. This thing's pretty awesome. Let's take it for a spin. Right. I might take it for a spin in my local area. Localish anyway. Yeah, let's just go Queenstown. So there's a lake here as well, which we can. I'll take off from there. Yeah, runway 14. Can we have runway 14, please? Why can't we choose runway? There we go. Wow, okay. And then, yeah, that should be a decent time of day. Hopefully this loads right. I've had it crash on me once today. But normally it's pretty good. Okay, there we go.
Cleared for takeoff runway 14 Icon X-ray Golf Sierra.
Let's wait for everything to settle down a wee bit. But yeah, Queenstown is pretty spectacular. There we go. I think everything's loaded in. Get some flaps. Zoom out a little. And away we go. Oops, that was a bit big. There we go. Now we can take off. I was a bit over eager with the. Oh wow, they got a crane right there. Wouldn't want to accidentally fly into that. Oh, and there's the actual city itself. Let's head over that way. airplane for a landing. So that's one thing I think this might be missing, as well as good water effects when you land. Let's have a look, see... What is that below us? What the hell is that? Oh, that's for the runway. Huh. Wow. Okay. Let's do an outside view of the landing. Is that maximum flaps? It is. You can do water landings in FSX as well. So again, if it's something, if you've got your computer but you can't afford to buy this just yet, then if FSX is on sale, definitely recommend getting that. Be a bit quick. Ooh. Yeah, it's got no water effects when you hit the water, which is a shame. Hopefully they do add those. They do have waves and everything. Like if it's a stormy day, you'll get big waves. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Right. Let's take off again, shall we? Break free of the water. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. There we go. I like these little details as well when you've got the gear down. It's showing you land there, but when it's up there it also lights this up to show you can land on the water now, because if you try and land on the water with your gear down, it doesn't end well. Does this actually work in the game? No. That's a shame. There's in real life there's a parachute, safety parachute system in this aeroplane. So if everything goes really, really badly, you've got a parachute to get out. Might as well just do another water landing. And then, definitely likes to nose up.
Icon X-ray Golf Sierra, you are leaving my airspace. Frequency change approved.
It is a shame that every single air traffic controller has an American accent, though, no matter where you are in the world. At least it is done better than FSX was done. No, no, not at all. Look up the Icon A5 on YouTube, and yeah, I heard your last transmission. Thank you. Right. Actually, I wonder if it doesn't work. If this is amphibious, you really should be able to get out of the water with it. So as long as you're not moving too fast, having the gear down shouldn't matter too much. But it probably will stuff everything up. See what I can do about that. Zero throttle. I need somewhere a bit flatter there. A few less trees. Definitely does fly along like a... Makes a pretty good boat too, actually. Buildings. There we go, that area there should be flat enough. Alright. See what happens when we put our gear down at reasonable speeds. Oh, it doesn't let you. Interesting. So let's go up to the land. Interesting. All right. Right, I'm going to call it a night there. Thanks for watching. Thanks for letting me know that my sound wasn't working. And yeah, I might catch you around another time. That's pretty cool. Yeah, the detail's ridiculously good. Really is. A few little niggles, but yeah, not too bad. Alright. Might catch you around another time, Crink. You have a good one. Bye.